How's it going? Motor City Mountain here, coming at you with another update on my conversions from open air rigs to server cases. So this is one of those 5 graphic card boards with 60mm spacing, all X8, X16 slot, but X8 capability lanes. Again, I'm just trying to move things into these for now. I'm not actually setting up these rigs or getting them up and operating. Just initial step here of essentially retiring my open air frames, and I'll just be, keeping pieces as replacement parts and so on and so forth. But yeah, so hopefully this one goes a little better and actually fits exactly how it should in this thing. Again, it'll end up being the opposite way, so which is the other thing I do like about the server cases is they're all based on air being sucked in, which creates positive pressure inside, which pushes the air out. Whereas obviously open air doesn't do that. But not only that, on the open air rigs, they tend to put the frames in a setup so that the fans are actually like the GPUs, if you have blowers, for example, are facing the fans, which means you'd have to flip the fan. But then some, say you had a mixed card rig, some blowers, some not blowers, like it really is kind of annoying that the fans are always so close to the GPUs on open air rigs. That's done just because, since there is no positive pressure, because it's an open environment, it's more likely to have airflow around the GPUs. But obviously that's not needed here, so this board will actually end up flipped, and the GPUs will be mounted essentially this way. Imagine that back frame with the fans isn't there. So the GPUs, if you had blowers, would be shooting out the back of this unit, or if you have long GPUs, they'd be hanging closer to the front. But yeah, so we're gonna open this up, tear this apart, see if this board fits on the first try. Unlike my B85 board, which I guess I have like 4 or 5 of those, so I still gotta find a case that works for those green boards. But yeah, let's get to it. All right, so we got it in here, and this time we're looking good. Look at that, all the holes line up. It's so exciting when things actually work out as planned. Yeah, so all 6 of those line up. The other thing I really like is that now, moving to this, the GPU attachment holes are already pre-drilled. Now, I bought these boards and these open air frames for them when they first came out. They did make revisions, but initially you'll see that these are adjustable rather than a solitary point. And that made this a huge pain to mount GPUs. Reason being, you couldn't really access from below or from above. Like, you need 2 tools, right? You're trying to screw with like a Phillips, a GPU screw into a bolt. So if you put the bolt underneath, you had to somehow hold the bolt in place so it would actually tighten, which there was just no room between the GPU and, the frame. And you couldn't take the fans off, because if you took the fans off, then you wouldn't be able to put the fans on afterward, because the GPUs are in the way, because they mount from the back. So you have to find like super, super long, like essentially like a way to like reach all the way up there to hold the screw in place or the nut in place while you screw from the top. Or you could do the reverse, really long screwdriver going up and then have the nut on top. But it was just a huge pain. They did rectify that in later versions, which I do have one rig of these that, had that fixed, which was really nice. But really glad for the majority of them that I will now have easy mounting ability. So really nice there. But yeah, we're going to get this fully mounted. The other things to note is this case does in fact come with a reset button. So right there. And this here. I don't actually know what pin it mounts to on here. I assume it mounts into one of these here, where my finger is. But I actually, no, sorry, I rephrased that. It goes over here by the SD drive, SSD drive. I don't know what the pinout is on this board, so I'll have to look into that before I fully hook this up, figure out where on earth, this, oh man, it's not even going to reach. Well, how's that supposed to work? Huh. Yeah, maybe it does go to this one. I don't know, guys. They're not really, well, maybe there's something on the label there. I can't really tell. But we're going to have to figure this out. I mean, but yeah, maybe it does go to this one. I mean, it can reach this one at least, so whereas that one seems not plausible. But we'll have to figure that out later. So, in the meantime, though, we're going to finish mounting this and then close it up for the day. And got to do a whole bunch of these. Nothing too exciting, so don't want to bore you guys. But that's linked down below. You know, if to this case, if you do have one of these boards, I do actually have. So this is you can see the version there, BTC79X5 version 1. So there was a later board, because one of the other big complaints on these was the spacing is for pretty much 30 series and up cards rather small. You know, it's only 60 millimeter, where we had starting to get used to 65 millimeter. And then, you know, the 40 series things got real large. So they did make a new version of this board that has 85 millimeter spacing. I have two of them. 85 millimeters is massive. I have never seen neither an open airframe or a server case like this that actually is compatible with that board. I've been trying to find one. I'm going to keep trying to find one. But maybe someday I'll find one. Anyway, so we're going to button this up. So, you know, comment down below if you've ever had one of these boards or thought about putting it into a server case. Link down below to where you can get this server case for this specific board. Again, I think once I get some time, I might try some proof of useful work on here, just because these are all at X8 lanes. You know, 16 slots, but actually X8 capability, which is required. So in theory, you could have 5 GPUs for proof of useful work. Now the big drawback, and there's, you know, definitely expansion for SSD memory and everything, so you could definitely load this thing up, you know, with plenty of memory. The one problem is going to be this guy here. This is your RAM slot. You only got one. And I think this is DDR3 on these motherboards too, so it's pretty old school, so you can't get like a giant like stick that's a massive amount or something. So I haven't quite figured that out. That'll be in an upcoming video, so, you know, subscribe. I'll have some content on that in probably sometime in the next month, hopefully. But yeah, I don't really know if how this would benchmark for Flux proof of useful work. I think everything would be real good except for the RAM. The RAM's going to be your bottleneck. So maybe for certain tasks it'll still be good, and others it'll just be garbage, but don't know yet. So like, comment down below, subscribe, and that's all I got on my conversion of open air rigs to server cases. Until next time.